is that instead of getting ChatGPT to write your content, here are some questions you can get ChatGPT to ask you to get what you need from it, so you can use it as a tool and not replacing the human inside of you.
Welcome to Lessons from the Ashes, a space where rising from the ashes is more than just a story, it's a movement. I'm your host, Stephanie Rose, and each week I sit down with unstoppable entrepreneurs who face life's toughest challenges and turn them into powerful comebacks. Together, we dive into the raw, unfiltered stories of resilience, business triumphs, and the personal journeys that shaped it all. If you're ready to be inspired by real-life phoenixes rising from the flames, you've come to the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to the very first podcast episode of 2025, Lessons from the Ashes, a West Rose Media podcast. And I am very excited to bring you more podcast episodes this year, not just about stories, but also about business and how we are going to make sure that we build thriving, long-lasting businesses, no matter what's going on in the world. We talk a lot on this podcast about rising up from the ashes, about moving on when things are hard, about doing all the things necessary to be able to build businesses and lives that we really, really love. And today's no exception. We are going to be talking about a hot button topic, AI, and using it in your business and your life. So I have seen a lot of discourse about AI in general, the ethics of it, how it's going to take over the world, all of these things all over Instagram and TikTok lately. And I wanted to chat a little bit about it because I have mixed feelings and I've changed my mind on it before. And you know me, I love to be able to change my mind. That is one of my key values, is the right to be able to change my mind. So let's chat about it. First off, the ethics of AI. This obviously is going to be different for every single person. I have heard lots of different theories on this. Some people saying that AI is going to be taking over the world and that using any type of AI is just leading in and adding to that inevitable takedown. Do I believe this? A little bit, yes. A little bit, no. I think that humanity in itself is going to probably find its own end one way or another. I don't know if AI will be the culprit. The other part of me knows that AI definitely has a major impact on the planet. We've seen this because of the server stations that are using the power to generate all the AI. So when you think about it, in case you haven't thought about it this way, you plug in your phone at home and you use the power, a very small amount of power, to go on your phone or go on your computer. But that is not what's powering AI. What's powering AI is huge server farms where the actual data is being crunched. So that's not happening within your home or on your device. That is happening elsewhere. So that does take up a very, very large amount of energy, and depending on where the servers are, different kinds of energy. Some of them are green energy, some of them are not. I've looked into this, and AI right now is using roughly the same amount of power as like 33,000 households in one day. So whether or not that is completely accurate, I did research it a bit, but basically AI as a whole is using a metric shit ton of power. Does you asking ChatGPT a couple questions use that much power? Probably not. If we're going to go into the ethics of you actually using a tool that could help you grow your business so that you can better the world versus what are the billionaires using it for, that's where it gets a bit murky. I personally struggled a little bit back and forth with this because I thought, okay, AI is a great tool. It can help me summarize. It can help me think things through, but it's not human. It's not inherently human. It doesn't have any sense of morals, and it doesn't have anything that's going to stop it from doing things that aren't good for others because it has no humanity. So of course, I've gone back and forth, and this might seem like, oh my God, Stephanie, like really? Are we digging this deep into AI? Just use it and move on. I'm the kind of person who thinks this kind of thing through. So here we are. What I did do for a while was ask it. I gave my ChatGPT a name. And because of who I am, I named mine Bette after Bette Porter. And I told her, I was like, I need you to talk to me like you are a sassy boss lesbian who can help me with my job and the things that I do, because I also need to be sassy and bold, and this is how I approach the world. And it worked pretty well. I trained her to talk to me in that way. I did use that ChatGPT to build some content, and then I felt kind of like, now it's just kind of sinking into oblivion. The thing about content that makes it amazing is authenticity. And so I went back and forth on if I give the idea to ChatGPT and then she summarizes it for me, is it still my work? And of course, again, another gray area that is going to be what you decide for yourself. But what I finally arrived to, and again, permission to change my mind all the time, what I have arrived to at this moment is that instead of getting ChatGPT to write your content, instead of getting ChatGPT to summarize your work and put it into words that you think are going to sell, if you are trying to build an authentic brand, here are some questions you can get ChatGPT to ask you to get what you need from it, so you can use it as a tool and not replacing the human inside of you, so that your content can be authentic, but you can still use that tool and feel good about it. This is what I would suggest. So ask ChatGPT, give her, or whoever you name yours, a summary of who you are, what you do, and the kind of clients you're going after. And then ask her to prompt you with some questions to really get them thinking. So ask her, say, hey Chat, I really need to come up with some amazing content for my business. This is what I do. This is who my ideal client is. Can you give me some prompting questions to get me in the writing content mood, to get me thinking about how my ideal client thinks about it? So you can also write these yourself. You can work with somebody who's going to teach you this, but if it's just you and Chat right now, and that's all the resources you have, don't feel bad about that. Use it to your advantage. So some of the things that you could get ChatGPT to prompt you in is like, if your ideal client showed up and needed you, what would you say to them? And then start forming that into content. I always ask people, I'm like, if your ideal client showed up at your door, sobbing their eyes out, things were not working, like they were at the end of their rope, what would you say to them? And that's always a prompt that I use. So get ChatGPT or AI or whoever you call your little robot in your pocket to get you to prompt questions like that, to get you thinking and actually writing your own content. That way you can use it as a tool. You can also ask for a summary. If you put out a whole bunch of brain dump information and be like, hey Chat, can you summarize this for me? And then give me some questions that if I answer them, it's the kind of content that is going to make people think. Obviously, it's not perfect. Obviously, there are going to be bumps, and some of the stuff they spit out is super weird. Sometimes they forget who they are. It is truly artificial intelligence in that it doesn't have the humanity. But if you use it as a tool to help you summarize and help you get clarity, then I think it's actually really beneficial. The other thing that you can ask it to do is give you a list of questions that's going to get the feedback you're hoping for. So what do I mean by this? I mean that if you are looking for testimonials, if you are looking for content that is going to show your clients that you are truly the very best person for them, what we want to do in any of these feedback forms is prompt people to give you the responses that you need. What do I mean by this? If you send to your clients, hey, will you leave me a review? They're going to write whatever they think, right? And it might be great, but it might not be usable, like really juicy content. But if you send them a feedback form and say, hey, can you let me know how you felt like you received value for my services, they're going to talk about the value you gave them. They probably either way, whether they're writing their own review or if they're answering your questions, think you gave them value. But if they don't use those words, you can't have a review that says, Stephanie was an amazing value for the money that I paid, and working with her changed my life in these ways, if you don't prompt them that way. So ChatGPT is a great way to get those kind of questions across. If you tell it, I want reviews that are going to show that I have great value for money, that I am efficient, that I showed them clarity, that I helped them build their business, whatever the things that you are hoping for, it can help you draft those questions to prompt others as well. What I think that ChatGPT, AI in general, is going to be very useful for entrepreneurs is in organization, summarizing clarity, and also for prompting you to think things through. Because as solo entrepreneurs, the thing that I find the most When clients come to me, they're like, I just feel lost. I feel like there's too many things going on and I'm here alone in this bubble all by myself and nobody to talk to. And I get too worked up and they're just like stuck in this little vortex of confusion. Not because they're confused or because they're not clear on what they want to do or because they're not good at what they do, but because they're alone. And if you don't have a team or you don't have a mentor who's in your pocket to help you through these things, having something like ChatGPT act as the clarifying question asker for you. Tell it what you need it to do. Tell it, hey, I need some clarifying questions to help me get my head right in the same direction so that I can grow my business. And then you can take the human action, the one that has morals, the one that has ethics, the one that cares about humanity. You can take that action and just allow the robot to do the robot work of asking you the clarifying questions. Because there is something about a tool that is completely analytical that is going to help you find those analytical things that will get you back on track. And then you can pull your humanity all into that container of like, okay, now I have a structure. Okay, now I have a plan. I saw a lot of people asking ChatGPT to script out their ideal life, to like help them manifest. This is the part where I think that ChatGPT is not going to help you. If you ask it to script out your life, it doesn't know what it feels like to be human. But what it can do is give you questions to help you script it out, because it has listened to a lot of humans. So think of it like somebody who has sat and observed humanity versus humanity itself. And if you can change your mindset on that, I think you're going to get a lot more out of AI tools in general. The other thing we should talk about is AI photos. Obviously, as a photographer, I think AI photos are cringy, but there are AI tools even within Lightroom and Photoshop, which a lot of photographers use. So what would I suggest in terms of AI and your photos? What I would suggest is if you're going to change a background, sure, but don't change yourself. Don't have it generate photos of you, because that is for sure where you're going to lose your audience in terms of authenticity. Because I have heard it said that within the next 3 years, we won't be able to tell the difference between a human influencer and an AI influencer. I already saw 2 recently on TikTok that I was like, they almost fooled me. And I was like, shit, that's so soon. Within 3 years, it's going to get way better. So how can you show your humanity? How can you do less filters? How can you show the humanity that you are in this world of AI? How you can do that is by actually having photos of your true self. And the authenticity and braveness that comes with showing your true self when they have tools that could make you skinnier. You know, they could make you have longer hair, sharper cheekbones, rounder eyes. They can put the makeup on for you. It's easy, but it doesn't mean it's right. And if you want to build a brand on authenticity, I would steer very, very clear of changing your personal image and your personal voice with AI. But that's just my opinion. So I would love if you jump in the comments of this podcast or this video and let me know, do you use AI for your business? How do you use it? And what do you think the future is going to bring for AI? Thank you for listening. This has been a short and sweet episode, and I can't wait to bring you more. If you would love to come on this podcast and share your story, please slide into my DMs. I love sharing real, true human stories, the ones that AI can't make up, and giving inspiration to the people who I know are going to change the world, and you are one of them. So, share this episode with a friend. Chat to me in the comments about what you think AI is doing to the entrepreneurial landscape, and I will see you here next week. Bye.
That's a wrap, friends. If you're ready to finally embody the brand you've been dreaming of, it's time to make your move. And hey, don't keep this to yourself. Hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend who's ready to step it up and own their power too. Let's build these empires together.